Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You've been in a relationship recently, we'll say. Talking about man-woman relationships, what do you want men to be aware of when it comes to being with a woman, and then general advice for just people in relationships? Or dating, rather.
I'll comment more on giving advice for women because I guess both, a bit of both, women and men. But let me start with the women advice.
Right, that's
like
better.
my takeaway
Sure.
from the relationships. I would definitely say the biggest takeaways was, or I would say takeaways / mistakes that I made and that I learned from were not taking the proper amount of time and getting to know the person before committing or getting into a relationship with them.
Okay.
And that was hands down the biggest mistakes I've made in a couple of my relationship, which was things happened way too fast. And then, it's like when things happen too fast, they crash really fast too. So I would say that was the biggest thing, because when you take time to get to know somebody, then you see the full picture of who they are, and you can make an informed decision on if this is the right person for you. Skipping that step or speeding through that step has proven to be costly emotionally, or even monetarily. Both. It has been costly both. So watch out, women.
So basically, don't give your heart so easily away. So
Don't
easily.
rush, especially.
Don't rush.
Yeah, don't rush, because some guys.
But rush into what exactly?
It's a relationship,
Being
or even
officially together, because it seems
officially
like
together
men don't
and
usually-
rushing even with physicality.
Yeah, because I was gonna say
that's
men
big
usually
thing.
rush you to get physical, not to be in a relationship.
Some are both. Some are both.
Okay, yeah. That's depends,
I've been
depends.
rushed for both, so maybe more one than the other, but definitely been rushed for both. So yeah, I would say that was the second mistake. Getting physical before you even know the person. Like, you barely know them, you got physical, and then you guys are trying to like go against the normal. I don't even know how to say this. Like
the natural evolution of the relationship.
yes,
Yeah.
going against the grain is just not a good idea. Like hooking up and then being like, okay, let's figure out. Oh, let's work. No, no. It has never worked for me, and in general, I don't think it's sustainable. To be honest, the reason why I say that is because despite what people say, how easily or how quickly you're able to give yourself away inherently influences the man's behavior towards you. So for example, like with the ones I mentioned, we hooked up way too soon, and they didn't have to do much for it, There was no, like jumping through fire, slaying a dragon, doing all these things before you get the girl, There was no difficulty to a certain extent.
There was no commitment.
There was no challenge.
Basic.
Yeah, exactly. There was
they didn't
no
have
commitment.
to commit to anything. They didn't have to really try hard at anything.
Yeah, they were
Invest.
required to do almost nothing. So then you're in a relationship with that person, and that was kind of like the
Perpetuated.
Yeah, that's what perpetuated. It was kind of like, oh, I was able to get you, and you didn't even require much of me, and it kind of, that tone stays throughout. And so that was the biggest issue. That was a big issue.
That's very interesting.
So yeah.
I have heard guys even on some podcasts, they have admitted to this, that a girl that gives it up so easily, they don't care as much for. Even if the girls, even though they admit also that they kind of ask women to be a certain way, and so women think, okay, if he wants this, then I'll get him if I do this, if I become easy, if I become approachable, if I become submissive, etc. But at the same time, they admit themselves that a girl that you really get to know and who puts up those barriers and slows you down is the one that they really value in the end. And they think twice about leaving too, because they're like, oof, all the time and effort I put into this relationship, just getting this far, do I really want to walk away now?
Yeah, exactly. Also, avoiding to get physical really quickly allows you to weed them out very easily.
That's true.
I just had the recent experience.
The intention, yes.
Intentions, okay? The 2-week rule, really. It's a rule.
My gosh.
And 2 weeks.
Like in Think Like a Man, is that what?
No. There's
Megan
a 3 month.
3 month, right?
It was a 90-day rule. But
that's
in 2 weeks, usually, especially I think in our day with Tinder and all these things, like literally 2 weeks is, at least for me, my threshold. I'm not saying that's like the standard. But in 2 weeks, you can easily find out a guy's intentions. Because if he had no plan on staying, he's not going to stay beyond 2 weeks trying to wine and dine.
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks of seeing each other, not just one call and I call you back in 2 weeks. They actually have to interact with you during those 2 weeks so that they feel like they've seen you often, but nothing has been moving forward towards a sexual relationship.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so exactly. I was just recently dating somebody. Plus, he only took me on like what 1.5 date or something like this.
Okay.
Where we talked every day, but in reality, and then he just disappeared. It was just like very saddening. It was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
But this is all the measures you have to take if you want to weed them out. Waiting
if you know
out
what
the
you
bad
want.
ones.
Yeah, exactly. If you know.
And
what you
also
want.
waiting also allows you to get over the infatuation. So like if you meet somebody who's extremely attractive, it's like that. There's that energy of like
the lust.
The
eyes are just foggy with all that glitter and hormone.
Yes, the lust is real. So, usually the more time you let pass, the more it dissipates because you're like, okay, I've seen you enough. Yes. And at that point, when the lust dissipates, that's when your brain turns back on and you can actually listen or be cognizant of who is this person now that I'm past. I'm over his looks. And who is this person who's in front of me? Do I want to spend time with this person? And do they make, and I think those are a lot of lessons all over the place. Yeah. But
basically, take your time.
Take your time. I think that's the biggest thing. Yes. Take your time. Get to know the person.
Take your time, not their time.
Yes.
That's also a thing. People don't realize that they're being usually pressured on someone else's time.
Exactly. I've been pressured into relationships and all that stuff, and I like the person, so I was like, why not? But at the same time, if you don't feel ready, don't jump into it.
Which is easier said than done, but it's something you have to be cognizant of.
Yeah,
you have to be cognizant of. Definitely, I've also been there.
Yes,
you're like, well, I'm here, so
why not? Exactly.
But you're in situations you'd rather just run away. Just run away. Just do it. Say, my cat, I gotta feed my cat. You ain't got no cat, doesn't matter. I gotta wash my hair, it stinks. I don't know. Oh, I pooped myself. Whatever it is, get out of the situation you don't want to be in.
The last thing I would say that people should pay, like my lesson learned, would be also the red flags. And when people show you at the beginning is who they are. Do not think it's a one-time thing. No, what they show you is who they are, and take it for it. Because, when I look back on some relationships, there were red flags, but I thought it was maybe just circumstantial and it wasn't a personality trait. But more times than not, it's a personality trait, and just stay away. If you see something you don't like, just let it.
It's not a one-time thing.
Don't engage. Don't engage. If there's even comments that are like fishy, take them for what they are, and just
we tend to make excuses for people we like,
interested in. Exactly. So really take them for face value. Also set the standards from the get-go. Do not let things be like slide and then you're like, okay, whatever.
Eventually I'll put my foot down.
And then you put your foot. It will never work because they said if you accept it at that point, that means you're willing to accept it for the rest of the duration of your relationship. So no, if you expect a certain behavior, say it from the get-go. If they're not willing to do it, then they're not for you. So that has been the biggest thing. Standards. If the person does not abide or even doesn't even have the intuition of doing some, like chivalry. Really, chivalry is very important to me. And if they themselves don't do it even on a natural basis, like they weren't taught that, that is already an indicator that it's not going to work. So.
Interesting.
So that's for me. How about you?
Yeah. So I think we're just gonna wrap it up, and that'll be for another conversation. If you listen to the podcast M Angel Says, or follow M Angel on YouTube, definitely I drop a bit about what I think throughout every single episode. Yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Marianne from Cacao. I was like,
I
was like, wait, do you have a code name? But no, it's actually your literal name, Marianne. Yes, thank you for taking the time. This is your last trip to Montreal in a long time.
Yep.
You're gonna be in Paris, across the sea. Well, thank you. What do you want people to check out, if anything?
Oh, well, thank you for having me. No, that's it. Just people check out my channel if they're interested. If you're interested
Cacao
in health
culture,
and
it should be on the
wellness,
screen.
yes, it should be right below.
How-tos, etc.
Yes, how-to videos. Anyways, I'm not gonna say more. Just check out my channel if you want to know more of what it's about.
Definitely.
That's it.
Do you want them to follow you on anything?
Yes, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat. Really on all social media platforms. My handle is the same across all
At
platforms.
Cacao Culture.
Yes, at Cacao
Definitely.
Culture.
All right, then. That's it.
Okay.
Thanks. Get out of here. Bye.